As to count one, pursuant to law, they sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As to count two, attempted murder in the first degree with a firearm, a life felony, I sentence you to 40 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count three, shooting and throwing deadly missiles, I sentence you to 15 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count four, I sentence you to 40 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count five, I sentence you to 40 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count six, I sentence you to 40 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count seven, I sentence you to 40 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count eight, I sentence you to 15 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. As to count nine, I sentence you to 1,473 days in the Florida Department of Corrections. I will run the sentences in counts 1 through 9 concurrently with each other. I will give you 1,473 days credit. I will run the sentences that I just imposed in 2021 CF 837, and this sentencing is happening all in the same sentencing proceeding. I imposed sentence earlier in the probation cases simply because both counsel advised me there were no additional sentencing arguments, and then I'm imposing sentence now after her victim impact statement, testimony from Mr. Ball's sister in this case, but it nevertheless is occurring in the same proceeding. So I'm going to run the sentence that I just imposed in 2021 CF 837 concurrently with the sentences I imposed in 2017 11673 and 2018 CF 320. So I'm running them at the same time. That is not to impose additional time on the probation violations.